Hello everyone, Kim here from the Traders Club to tradersclub.com, and thanks for tuning in. I thought I'll do a quick market update looking at 65-minute chart. So we're going to look at a minor term sentiment on the spider and apple, right? And first of all, we have to understand that with today's gap down move, what we see is we have left shoulder here, and then we got the head and the right shoulder, and this level getting confirmed. And so you can see that with the gap down today, we have confirmed that we have initial confirmation of the head and shoulder. What I mean by initial confirmation, sometimes what they like to do, they like to gap back up and retest that neckline, and if we get rejected at this level, and then that will be when the minor term downtrend will continue. So that will be actually a full confirmation there, though we may not get the retest. We may or may not, we do not know. There's a lot of times where it just goes straight down. There's sometimes it goes back up. So in the event that maybe tomorrow or something like that, next few days or so, this thing kind of starting to gap back up here and fill this gap, you want to make sure that if you're a bear here, you want to make sure that 207.92, 208-ish level hold, because if that level not hold but resist the buyers and start to see more sellers there, because you can see that this was low, this was a high, and that's a lower high, and if we get rejected at that level on that neckline, again, neckline being old support becoming a new resistance, right? Old support becomes a new resistance. So if we get rejected, even if the price gets back up, right? If we get rejected there will be another cultivation of a lower high, which means we're still in a minor term downtrend. And if this thing continues lower here, next level, this is a strong support though, because you can see how well it held this level. This was important resistance. This was resistance here, and flip back over support. This was back in what, October 21st. And so this is the next level of strong support there, also coinciding with the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement. When you have this data colliding in technical analysis, you can see this is horizontal pivot, and also colliding with that 38.2%. That's the important level. If we lose that level, next level to watch is what, 50%, also colliding with this support, previous support levels, is also that's important level. And then if that level is broken, obviously 61.8%, which is this gap area level there. I would have to say though, if all these levels gets broken, I think the final level, right, 195 is a must. I would have to say that's a must hold level, because a lot of times when the gap gets filled, what's going to happen is that that gap fill can act as support. And if we do, worst case scenario, if we bounce from that level, that still can be considered as intermediate term higher low, now that we have already cultivated intermediate term higher high there. That's higher than this high, and this high is definitely higher than that high. So looking at this right there, we have some kind of cultivation going on there. The pullback is not a bad thing. Obviously, we're in a minor term bears sentiment as of today, and with that head and shoulder confirming. However, looking at a more of an intermediate term perspective, the pullback is not a bad thing. Pullback is actually a good thing, because why? Because trend does not get established with market going straight up. What the trend does, how the market is going to develop trend is it's going to get up, it's going to come back, but when it does pull back, when it does come back, you want to see you want to see making sure it creates higher low. We do not know which level it's going to bounce. Only market will tell us that. As far as the probability is concerned, because we have created higher high here, that suggests that it's coming back down to create a higher low before going back up. Then, only then, we can establish intermediate term higher low there. Obviously, so minor term sentiment is bearish. With the intermediate term sentiment, potentially, we're trying to cultivate higher low here to continue resume to its primary term uptrend, or to establish its primary term uptrend. There's some of these levels to watch there. Quickly, look at Apple. Apple, looking at 65-minute chart here, obviously, this was important level we've been talking about, 120, right? It's more like a 117-ish or so. It's 117, 118-ish. This is important level 60, looking at the 65-minute chart of this Apple here. And we, obviously you can see that we acted as resistance, last what, couple month or so, right? And this was a level where bears could really bring this thing down, right? And obviously this was again another important level. Isn't that interesting how these levels continue to get respected, just like the resistance level gets respected and this level gets respected, right? So that's interesting to note that, you know, sellers up here started selling again here, the buyers down here started buying again up here. That's what these levels work. Not just because I have this red crayon and I'm just drawing it through the board and then it's supposed to be a support. No, there's actually, you know, they're actually explained behind these supports and resistance level, because, you know, there are traders out there looking at these levels and doing the same thing over and over again, right? So obviously we did that, we got back up, and then we cleared this resistance level. We pulled back a little bit briefly, but we able to thrust higher, and that's very, very important that we did that. A lot of people want to, you know, just quickly dispute it and say, well, there's a massive bull trap, we're gonna go to nothing. Well, obviously anything can happen in the market. However, as far as the probability is concerned, like I said, when we have cultivated this high, that was very, very important for intermediate term bulls, because now we are cultivating what? That high is definitely lower than this high, right? This high is definitely higher than that high. So we got higher highs going. We got the low. We got the higher low. So like I just said, on spider analysis, it is potentially coming down to create higher low before going back up to create what? Higher high. And obviously, I do not know which level it's going to bounce as of today. Obviously, you know, with this, you know, big gap down we saw 3 trading sessions ago, there's a lot of fear on Apple in the minor term. Again, we're looking at 65-minute chart here. Just want to let you guys understand that, right? So some of these levels could act as support. I think next support, I mean, we have support right here, minor term support at 113.97. 114 or so. If that level gets broken, next support level is a 38.2% retracement, is 111.65, and next after that will be at 107.90. I think 107.90 could be the most must hold level for intermediate term uptrend to continue. Quickly before I let you guys go, I want to look at Apple 65-minute chart. RSI here, and obviously RSI, we are looking at the minor term sentiment here. Obviously, since the July 20th here, you can see that we are getting into that oversold status. That doesn't mean, it's not always mean that when we get to this level it's gonna get bought up. It doesn't mean that at all, because even last time right here we were oversold status with a little bit of quick bounce to the upside, but then it quickly sold out to the downside here. But last time when we had a, you know, extremely oversold status here, that was where a lot of buyers showed up, came back down, we saw that oversold status once again, and then we got back up here. And then we are now back at that oversold status. So the question is, are we gonna buy? Are we gonna see some buyers in this vicinity before this thing getting back up to create what? An intermediate term uptrend, right? We got the low, we got the higher low, we got the high, we got the higher high, and so any of these levels can act as higher low there. So then if we bounce in any of these levels, maybe about around 110 or so, that will still consider as higher low. And then at that point, RSI will continue back up here after hitting that oversold status. Right? Have a great night.